YouTube, there's a new manga on the block, and we got to talk about it because it's making waves, okay? And that's Ichi The Witch. Now, this hasn't been done since One Piece, but Ichi The Witch was ranked #1 on Shonen Weekly, right? Which is, a weekly voting thing that they do over in Japan. It was ranked #1 within its first 10 chapters of being a manga, right? Now, that is a big deal because that record wasn't broken for 20 plus years, right? So it is a big deal that this anime is making waves like this, and you know what, it is for every right reason. Now, Ichi the Witch is about this kid named Ichi, and he lives on Druid Mountain. Now, Ichi is a spunky, crazy, pretty much mountaineer kid. He grew up with no parents. He grew up, just by himself in the woods. I'm pretty sure he grew up with no parents, unless he grew up with somebody who taught him how to survive. I'm pretty sure that's how that went. He found somebody who taught him how to hunt, who taught him how to fish. Yeah, he did. He had a mask on. He gave him his first knife, right? And so he taught him how to fillet things. He taught him how to skin things, a bunch of stuff like that. So he ends up pretty much just surviving on his own, and he hunts everything from rabbits to wolves to huge moose to predators. Like he hunts any and everything. He's on that straight carnivore diet, you know what I'm saying? And there's this huge monster that's pretty much terrorizing the Druid area, the Druid Mountain area that he lives in, right? And that it's not good for him because he's killing all of his food, everything that he's eating, this and that, blah blah blah. And so he figures out that this thing is actually a monster, right? And a bunch of witches. So the way these monsters get dealt with is that there's a witch society. So these witches come through and they, pretty much start fighting this thing, right? You learn that the magic that they're fighting, so the monsters are called magics, M-A-J-I-K-S, right? Magics. So these monsters that they're fighting, they have different contracts that need to be fulfilled in order to kill them. So they all have these gemstones, right? And these gemstones, right, they all need to be defeated a certain way in order to actually extract the gemstone from the magic and defeat the magic, aka the monster, right? So for example, one magic can only be defeated if you make it feel a certain way about itself, or another, it's kind of funny, or another magic can only be beaten, right, like if you freeze it, or if you use fire magic against it, or just something like that. Like, these are just different examples. Each contract's different, and they're not always like beat them up, you got to defeat them that way. They're, some of them could be a game, some of them could be, you got to change the way they feel about a certain thing or change their perspective on things. It's kind of funny, but at the end of the day, there is still a lot of action, and the way these things get, dealt with is always entertaining, and you're wondering how they're going to beat it, right? So it's honestly a really cool thing. It's something different that you don't see in every anime. Pretty much every anime is, you outpower the enemy, you defeat them, and then you call it a day, right? And then they get a sad backstory or whatever. So the way you defeat these magics are, a bunch of different ways. Like, one magic, you can't defeat it unless you're a male, right? Which, is almost unheard of, because in this world, the witches are only female, right? So there's never been a male witch, but, it's not really a spoiler. The anime, or the manga, is called Ichi the Witch. So he becomes a witch some way, somehow. Maybe you could have guessed it. He defeated the magic that needed to be defeated by a male, right? So, and that's the very beginning of things. It's not really too much of a spoiler. It's more for context. Once Ichi becomes a witch, he gets taken under the wing of Descaris, right? So she is pretty much the Gojo of the witch society, bro. Like, she is like the goated one. Like, you don't mess with her. She got all the techniques. She's got all the abilities. She's got, the most power out of all, right? She's just the triple OG of the witch society. And now the cool thing is, so she has all these techniques, right? Now, if you defeat a magic, you get the gemstone and you get the magic's abilities. Like, all of its abilities, bro. So, like, you can only imagine how awesome some of these characters are going to be when you find out, oh, this character's got 50 gemstones because he she defeated 50 magics. So she's got all these techniques. And then, like, Descaris probably has hundreds of them. So she's got, so many broken abilities. You know, that's why I really like this manga, is that there's so many abilities, right? And a lot of them are going to be broken, but there's going to be different ways to break those broken abilities, right? So I think that's really cool, because I'm a big One Piece fan, and there's just so many different abilities with all the different devil fruits, Jujutsu Kaisen, all the different abilities, right? Stuff like that. I love anime and manga that have crazy power systems and like just insane amounts of abilities. Like, I used to be a big Dragon Ball Z fan, but everyone's got a beam, some kind of beam power, some kind of death ball, whatever. Everyone's kind of like, copy and paste, just different names of things, right? But like One Piece and like, in this kind of anime, or this kind of manga, there's just so many different things, and there could be so many different wacky, powers that people could have, and just so many, like, there's Great Wall of China level dragons, like just that big, like just huge dragons just being summoned, right? And they're like ice dragons. There's like crazy monster summonings happening on both sides of, like, the good witches, the bad magics, shit like that. There's probably going to be evil witches, right? There's, a lot of magics there. That's pretty much the main antagonist, are the magics. But I guarantee you there's going to be evil witches, like there just has to be witches that are seeking pure power, So, but the thing is, like, magics, they hate humans and they hate witches. So, because witches are hunting magics. So the more powerful magics there are, the more like, pretty much self-aware that they're magics, and, they know what's going on in the world. Like, some of these magics are hundreds of thousands of years old, and they've fought off these witches for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So you're going to see a lot of OP magics as well, and any magic could have any kind of ability. It's honestly really badass. So the potential of becoming powerful, like Ichi only has right now he has two different magic abilities, right? But you can imagine how much more OP he's going to get. He's the type of guy who you don't really even need to give him like 20 different. He just needs like 4 or 5 more, and you could call it a day, because the ones he has are just insane. But Descartes, like, she's the one you want to watch, and like the other characters, that's why I just love it, because it's like, you're there for the main character, but you're also there for all the other characters. And, we're going to be traveling. We're going to see different parts of this world, different monsters, different, cultures and stuff, which is, I'm really excited for. It gives me a big One Piece vibe, just because how many characters are going to be, how many, different type of abilities and magics, all the different magics we're going to come across and fight. And yeah. And I really like it, because there's also the conflict of, like, should we be killing some of these magics? Some of these magics aren't even that bad. And then some of the magics are, like, literally genociding right now. Like, this is why this anime is insane. They have their own mini rumbling, bro. Like, this anime, the antagonists, they don't give a crap. They're like Majin Buu level, like, I want to kill every single person on this planet, bro. So I'm really enjoying this. If you guys need a new manga to pick up and read, Ichi the Witch is super good right now. They're only on, like, I think the next chapter is going to be chapter 13, so it's an easy catch up if you guys like reading weekly. If you guys don't, I would just let it go for another 6 months before you pick it up, because then it's going to be a really good read. But yeah, Ichi the Witch, check it out. It's good, and mark my words, at the end of 2026, maybe 2027, maybe at the beginning of 2026, who knows? But I doubt it. I think it's going to be more towards the end or early 2027. This will have an anime adaptation, and it's going to be dan level of hype. I'm telling you right now, this manga is going to be a sick anime adaptation, because the level of just summonings and the magic and the action sequences in this are going to be through the roof. The potential is insane for Ichi the Witch. Like I said, it was ranked number 1 in its first 10 chapters, guys. Like, you guys need to understand how badass that is. Well, anyway, if you made it to the end of the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.